Hello BookTube and welcome to another weekly reading vlog. So for most of this week, my wife and kids were at my wife's parents' house up in the countryside, and I had a lot of time to myself as I did the previous week. And I got some reading done, but I also watched a lot of movies and filmed reviews of the movies I watched. And apologies to all my subscribers for spamming your subscription feed with a bunch of videos. Thank you very much to everyone who did not unsubscribe. And for those 5 of you who unsubscribed, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But yeah, I'll get to the reading in just a moment. But I took advantage of the time I was having alone. I mean, I was still working. But in the evenings after work, I watched Path to War, the movie, and reviewed it on this channel. Charade, movie, and reviewed it on this channel. The movie Berkeley in the 60s. And the TV movie Young Indiana Jones and the Curse of the Jackal. I also have been playing around with doing Chat GPT poems. So that's the other thing I've been spamming this channel with. So I suppose maybe I should explain this a little bit. I know I am 18 months too late to this party. Like, all the discourse about Chat GPT has already moved on. But for the past 18 months, I'd been hearing a lot about Chat GPT, but never got a chance to play around with it myself. When it first came out, I was told that it wasn't available in Vietnam. You needed a VPN. Apparently, you had to download it and put it up on your computer. And you know how these new technologies go. There are early adapters and late adapters, and I've always been a late adapter. When my coworkers were explaining to me how you get a hold of a Chat GPT account, and it involves something downloading stuff on your computer and getting a VPN, I just thought, no, no, I don't need it that badly. But the past a couple weeks ago, my manager recommended it to me for help in writing some of my reports, and it's coming in very useful all the time, and showed me a website where I could access it, po.com, where you have to log in, but you can log in with your Google account or something, and you can just use Chat GPT right there. So I started playing around with it, and I found it very addicting. The first thing I asked it to do was to write a poem about rats building bicycles. I think this is a lingering influence of the Rats of Nim book I read and reviewed on this channel a couple years ago. Link in the description down below. And was very impressed with how well ChatGPT did with it. A working rhyme scheme mostly. A couple of the couplets are a little bit awkward, but only a couple. ChatGPT understood the concept of rats. They've got tiny paws and fur. It's whimsical that they're making a bicycle. They make bikes out of small things because rats are small. It's slightly unusual for rats to be making bicycles. It just got the whole world of it instantly. And I was, as I think everybody is with this new AI, both incredibly impressed and incredibly excited about the possibilities here, and also incredibly depressed because I thought, well, I'm never going to try and write a poem again. I mean, what's the point? You just go to ChatGPT when you want something, right? Now, okay. If you analyze a poem carefully, it does have its weaknesses, and maybe it's not quite as magical and whimsical as something a talented human could produce, but it's better than anything I could produce. So, having tasted this, I think whenever anyone discovers ChatGPT, there's a feeling of godlike power. Like, I didn't write this poem, but I ordered it into creation. I said, let there be a poem about Mike's let there be a poem about rats building bicycles. And then there it was. And so then I wanted to see what else I could do. So I said, okay, a poem about rats building bicycles, but then they suddenly get disillusioned with their work. And ChatGPT did it and got the concept, got the sequence of events, understood what it was like to become disillusioned with something that you're working on, and all in a rhyme scheme. So then I said, okay, let's make a poem about rats building bicycles, and they suddenly become disillusioned with their work, and then they become pirates. And it did it. And then I said, okay, rats building bicycles, they suddenly become disillusioned, they become pirates, and then they find religion. And it did it. I kept waiting for the prompt that was going to break ChatGPT, where it would come back and say, I'm sorry, this is can't do this as a poem. But it did it, the whole sequence. So then I thought, okay, rats building bicycles suddenly become disillusioned, find religion, but then at the very end they become atheists. They lose their religion. And it did it. And it all made sense, and it was all in a poem form. And so then I said, okay, rats, they build bicycles, they become disillusioned, they become pirates, they find religion, then they lose their religion and become atheists, and then they reenact the Spanish Civil War. So there's Republican rats and fascist rats, and they have a little civil war among themselves. And to give credit where credit is due, ChatGPT did it. But at that point, I had pushed things too far. The whimsy was completely gone from it. So I threw out that last one, and I just finding it. They become atheists. That's the end of the story. I thought this whole sequence was just so amusing, and I'm the one who's creating the prompts, so maybe I'm amusing myself, but I just wanted to add them to my English as a second language listening project for poems, a little bit of self-indulgence. So I uploaded those 5 poems this week, and again, the people who unsubscribed, I don't blame you, but for those of you who stuck with me, thank you. I also did, I fooled around with a few other prompts. I did one about, it's 1917, right during the middle of the Bolshevik Revolution, and Lenin gets turned into a frog. And, ChatGPT did it. And something that made sense, and they got the world of it. They got how awkward it was for the revolution for Lenin to be a frog, but then they talked about how it became an inspiration and was a symbol of the revolutionary change. That one I actually recorded the previous week, and then came back this week to record all the ones about rats. So sorry, that's a rather long explanation about all the videos that I've been uploading this past week, but I wanted to explain it and apologize. The wife and kids are now back. They came back last night, so it should be back to normal business on this channel with my normal upload schedule. Okay, now this is supposed to be a weekly reading vlog, so let's talk about the reading. The previous week I had finished Men Like Gods by H.G. Wells, but hadn't reviewed it. So I reviewed that book this week, Monday my time, and then started Tides of War, a novel of Alcibiades and the Peloponnesian War, a historical novel. Something I had sitting on my shelves for some time and had been really looking forward to, and made decent progress on it, 142 pages. That's decent for me. My goal is 200 pages a week, so fell short of my goal. And I have no excuse because the wife and kids were gone, except I was watching so much TV and filming a bunch of videos, so I guess that's my excuse. Also, the book is it's not going down quite as easy as I would have hoped, in spite of the fact that I've been looking forward to reading this. The narrative is a little bit depressing. I mean, fair enough, it's a depressing period in history. I was hoping that this would emphasize more the soap opera details of Alcibiades' life rather than the depressing parts of the Peloponnesian War, but the author wants to go in with the depressing part. The plague in Athens and the brutality of warfare and stuff like that. Okay, all right. Book is called Tides of War, so that should have been a clue to me. But also the battle scenes I find really hard to follow. I can't quite visualize in my head exactly what's going on and can't decipher the author's descriptions. This may be just me, though. This is a reoccurring complaint I have across with a lot of books that have big battle scenes, which that's an indication right there maybe the problem is with me. And then I went on to Amazon and Goodreads, and I found people complaining about a lot of aspects of this book. Some of the stuff I just mentioned. But nobody was seeming to complain about the battles. I seem to be on my own on that one. So, okay, maybe it's just me. There is some interesting stuff in here. I do want to finish it, and let's see if I can hit my reading goal next week. I picked up the Bible again the last couple days, and read in Joshua from where is it? Chapter 9. Read chapter 9, and I'm up to chapter 19 now. So, okay, I got 10 chapters read, about 8 pages. So this is the conquest of Canaan. Boy, there's a lot in here. The Gibeonites, they make the peace treaty with the Gibeonites because the Gibeonites fool them into thinking that they're a faraway nation. Then 5 kings in the south of Canaan make war on Israel and then get wiped out. And then there's a coalition of northern kings, a whole bunch of them that make war on Israel and get wiped out. But there's there's an interesting little footnote here somewhere. The people who are editing the Jerusalem Bible are of the opinion that there are 2 versions of the conquest of Canaan here. Chapters 10 to 11, which describe the whole conquest of the whole south and the whole north. And then chapters 13 to 15, which describe each tribe fighting for its own place in their own territory. And they posit these as 2 different traditions. And they say the second one is closer to the truth, which surprised me a bit because my understanding is that the whole conquest of Canaan never happened. So if it never happened, how could one imaginary narrative be closer to the truth than another imaginary narrative? But I suspect that they know a lot more than I do. And it would be interesting to know what the scholarship behind these very brief footnotes is. But there you go. Huh? That's the version I'm reading here is the Reader's Edition, which is one that's light on the footnotes. I believe the original Jerusalem Bible had a lot more scholarship in it. And then we get to the part I'm in right now, where they're telling where each tribe is. And this is a little bit dry to read through because it's just a list of the boundaries of each tribe. And it's listing places I have no idea where they are. So, for example, it's talking about the the boundaries for the tribe of Benjamin. So their northern boundary began at the Jordan. Okay, I know the Jordan. Climbed to the northern flank of Jericho. All right, I know what Jericho is. I couldn't find it on a map, but all right. Rose through the highlands westward and ended at the wilderness of Bethaven. Thence it continued towards Luz, southward towards the flank of Luz, which is now Bethel, then downwards to Atorath Adar on the mountains south of Lower Betharon. The boundary curved and on the western side turned southward from the mountain that faces Beth Horon from the south and ended at, and it just goes on and on like that for the boundaries of all of the tribes. I'm sure this detailed geographical knowledge is invaluable to scholars, but makes for rather dry reading. So that's where I'm at with my quest to read the Bible. I did finish a graphic novel as well this week. I don't have it with me because I brought it back to my school to return it to the library, only to find that the library is closed on the weekend. So I was not able to return it, but I did leave it at school, and was not able to check out a new graphic novel either, but I'll do that tomorrow, hopefully. But finished The Reign of the Supermen, and reviewed it on this channel. And yeah, again, I'll leave a link in the description down below to everything I've mentioned in this video. And I think that's everything. So thank you very much, BookTube. Once again, thank you everybody for not unsubscribing. Almost everybody. And I will see you next week.